Good morning, YouTubers. T Square with T Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. It is Monday morning. Super excited to see how the markets do today. If I cough a couple times, I am catching a cold, so I apologize for that. Today, I wanted to take a little time and talk about selling your precious metals. Now, no, this is not some kind of clickbait or anything. It's something, though, that I did want to talk about because so many people have sold for different reasons. And personally, I can't picture myself ever really selling mine unless I just absolutely needed the money for something. But I think it's important that we talk about it because there's been a lot of traps in the past that people have sold and all of a sudden they realize they didn't quite get what they should have gotten. And obviously the most common one is the gold confiscation, where people sold their gold at like $20.67, I think. I can't remember what it was. Let's take a look real quick. 2067. Okay. I had actually had it pulled up, and because I was reading and I was like, man, 2067. Think about that for a minute. The majority of people, now back then, an ounce of gold, 2067, people saw that as a lot of money. But the thing that people didn't realize is literally less than a year later, they would revalue gold to $35. And essentially, for most people, I mean, 67 cents back then was a lot of money. However, to get reevaluated for $35 not too long after is kind of a slap in the face. And we've not only seen that trick happen at that point in time, but we've seen it happen in other countries. And all of a sudden, they water down the money, and people basically the gold price goes up, it skyrockets, and shortly after you have people selling their gold for what seems like a ton of money, only to have them devalue the currency again, and then all of a sudden they got burned. And they could have afforded to maybe keep some of that. Yeah, I totally before I keep going too much, please take a quick minute, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. Hit that thumbs up and leave me a comment on your thoughts. But we've seen it happen so many times that, people think that, if gold skyrockets to $6,000, $5,000, let's just say hypothetically we see $5,000 gold in a year from now. And how many people out there do you think are going to be eager to sell? I mean, I remember talking to a lot of people that sold when gold was $2,000 because it was a new all-time high at 2,000, and a lot of people just thought it was just going to go right back down. And I'm talking even people that subscribe to the channel, that watch the channel, have told me that they have sold precious metals, whether it be gold or silver, because they thought it was going to come back down. And they said, I'd rather sell up here and then let it fall and then ride the elevator all the way back up again. And I can understand where people are coming from when they think that way. But the problem is we don't entirely know where gold and silver is going to go, as we are in really uncertain times right now with everything going on, with the debt as high as it is. Let's take a brief look here at the national debt. We've got $36.5 trillion. I mean, there's no chance of that getting paid back. A lot of people have this belief that, with everything going on, Trump's going to end up bringing that down. Here's the thing. I mean, any kind of changes almost take a year to really take effect, because a lot of money is already spent for the next year. And yes, they're looking for ways to cut that. That's kind of what this Doge clock is right here that you see here. And for those people that don't know what I'm looking at, this is the U.S. debt clock website. And you can click on this. You can go online, just type U.S. debt clock under Google, and it will bring up this chart. This website, and there's a lot of good information on here. But, we don't know where gold and silver is going to end. We have seen it happen time and time again where it reaches a top, or what we think is a top, here when it went up to $825 and then came down. And a lot of people were, I wish I had sold. Well, once it got back up there, boom, 950, there were a lot of people that were selling. This is not just paper manipulation. Every time you see a pullback in gold, it's not solely paper manipulation, although paper manipulation does have a huge factor in it, but a lot of people will consider selling, and a lot of that is paper selling, and it's legit. But you see it pull back, and then all of a sudden you see it push forward because the weak hands have sold out on their position. And then you see it go even higher. And right here was when it hit $1,911 and then came right back down. And then as it came up again, once it got up to that $1,900 range, a lot of people were like, well, we saw this game before, and they sold their position. And then it came back down some. And then only to go forward, because the truth of the matter is the big money is not really selling their personal stacks. You know, I have 2 stacks. Some people know this about me, some people don't. I have a stack that is my personal stack, and I probably will never sell. I'll use it as a hand-me-down to my son, or I'll end up retiring with it, or who knows, maybe I'll pass away with it. But then I have a second smaller stack that I do use for trading and bartering. I had one of my friends, I ended up trading him one day some groceries from a small mom and pop grocery store, and I ended up trading some silver for it. And I had one of my other friends, he called me up and he's like, hey man, I got a question for you. If the dollar is worthless paper, why would you want to give up silver for your groceries? Why not just give up worthless paper? I said, okay. So the thing people got to understand on that note is paper, money, fiat, dollars, loons, yen, bolivar, whatever you're using, wherever you're at in the world, euros, the currency is paper. It has no physical value, but people do accept it. And as long as people are accepting it, it gives you the opportunity to trade it for goods and services. And you're doing that every time you buy something. I mean, some people might be like, you're technically buying something, you're not trading. No, you're trading your time, energy for paper dollars. And then you're taking those paper dollars and you're buying whatever you need with it. But here's the thing. When you do a lot of trading with people, some people don't know how to find the good deals. I see stuff at the pawn shops. Literally, these people are putting ounces of silver out for $40, $50 an ounce, and some fool comes and buys it. And I shouldn't use the word fool, because I'm sure we've all been there before. We've all, maybe when we started stacking, we're willing to buy whatever for whatever price. I was lucky. The person that really broke through to me and got me into it, he sold me a couple ounces or an ounce at what he paid. But he said, the next time you want some, you need to drive to San Antonio and get it, because that's where I go. And I said, okay. And for a while, I was driving to San Antonio every time I wanted ounces. And I got a decent deal, but probably not the best deal. Then I started working with an online company, and I got a better deal, or at least I thought it was a better deal at the time. And then as time went on and I shopped around, I started finding even better deals. And then as I got into YouTube, I met up with people like Eli. Some of y'all know Eli. He has the Silver Asylum Facebook group. And he posts every day, almost every day, every couple days, the best places to buy precious metals. And so it gives me an opportunity to check in, see what's going on. And, you know, then I have people that will sometimes write to me. Jinx wrote to me the other day. I think, gosh, she changed her name, though, to Queen. Had wrote to me the other day about a super awesome deal on Maple Leaf somewhere. And, you know, you can't really be afraid to shop around, because there are always going to be better deals out there. There's no, a lot of people, I heard someone leave a comment the other day when I was reading it. It basically said, I only use XYZ, I trust them, and I've never had a problem with them. And here's the thing, in my opinion, they're not even one of the better bullion dealers out there. They're higher in price, but they are reputable, and Google will pull their name up, very first name you see usually when you do searches. They're one of them. I didn't want to say the name of the company because I'm not trying to diss any specific company. But I'm sure someone out there already knows who it is. You know, and so there's always going to be opportunities in buying. So you got to shop around. Now back to selling. When eventually we see some major, I'm talking major jump in precious metals, there's going to be a lot of people that will sell. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of a double tap. I know a lot of people that sold when we hit $24, $25, and they expected they were going to be buying it back at 20. Now, I don't know if secretly they didn't want to come out and say that they've already bought back in their position and for more money, but I've seen it happen time and time again where that does happen. Even when I first got into cryptocurrencies, I would try to buy the dips and sell the highs and play the little game. I was kind of embarrassed a little bit when I had to bring my tax forms to my accountant, and I said, are they going to think that I actually spent that much money on crypto? Because I don't have over $1 million. And she goes, no. She looks at it and she just laughs. She's like, no, they know there are people like you that will flip every literally 10 minutes. And as you're just flipping, buying, selling, buying, selling. I did that because at the time, the company that I was using, there was no commission fee. So you could sit there and go back and forth all you wanted. And the funny thing about cryptocurrencies that I always found kind of interesting is the huge price moves, literally the swings that you see. I mean, today, Bitcoin up 3% almost. Well, 3% on even $100 is $3, but let's just say you were to put in $1,000, 3% is $30. That's an ounce of silver. And so I would play these little games and go back and forth. But the problem is dealing with precious metals where it's something physical, it's an insurance policy. You certainly would not, if let's say you're buying a hurricane insurance, some people want to hurry up. I've actually seen people do this. As soon as hurricane season comes to an end, they're quick to cancel it. They're not paying for an insurance policy in the winter on hurricane when there's no likelihood. I was going to say there's no likelihood, but there's not much of a likelihood you're going to have a hurricane in the winter, but you could have a late one. And with precious metals, we don't know. Even I don't know. I mean, a lot of people think that, oh, how does he know? How does he do? How does he, anybody that's doing this, making YouTube videos or even actual financial advisors, which I am not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you guys what I do. Even these financial advisors, though, they have horrible years. That's why it upsets me, that they make it sound like, oh, he's a licensed financial advisor. He really knows his stuff. Oh, that's why he lost 10% of your money last year. Nobody has a crystal ball and knows what's going to happen. People can predict, they can see the signs, whether that's a slowing economy, whether it's higher unemployment claims, whether it's geopolitical issues around the world that could cause precious metals to climb higher, a strengthening dollar, a weaker dollar. There's all kinds of different factors, and no one catches them all. I follow a lot of different YouTubers online, and I listen to what they got to say. I listen to some people that work closely with coin shops, and I like to hear what's going on. Are people buying? But I always got to remember that you don't want to take one person's opinion, because everybody has an agenda, and I've said that time and time again. Whether it's clicks, whether it's views, whether it's get you to buy platinum over silver over gold, or whatever the case may be, everybody has an agenda. Now, I like to listen to what they're saying and look at the charts and see if I can verify what they're saying. People just are going to miss out, I think, a lot of people. And it's sad because some of you that have been in the stacking community for a long time, right now you have the attitude that I'll never sell my silver. We don't know what the future holds. I ended up telling someone one day, I almost never say never. I don't want to get into a too personal story. I had someone ask me, will you ever get married? I don't know. Will you ever do this? Will you ever do that? I don't know. I don't want to say never, because when you say never and then you do it, it's like totally, why say never? You don't know what the future holds. I mean, tomorrow somebody could come up to me and say they're getting into precious metals and they've decided they're going to sell a really nice piece of property, maybe in the hill country in Texas, a little stream going through it, or maybe, somewhere on the Guadalupe, or I don't know, whatever, some good spot, needless to say. That dream spot that you were looking at. They're planning on selling that, and they're going to buy some precious metals. And all of a sudden, my attitude is, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll trade you the precious metals for that, and I'll make a regular payment to you every month. Or, if I don't have enough in precious metals. It all depends. I don't know what the future holds. At that point in time, they could be selling because gold just shot up to $10,000 and silver just shot up to $300, $400. And now they're like, man, I should have been buying. I haven't been. Now I'm selling my land and I'm going to buy. I'm getting in finally. Well, at that point, a lot of us are in the driver's seat. We've been stacking when people hated it. And I'll be honest, right now, my opinion, even on gold and silver, it is still severely undervalued. It is disliked. Yeah, you hear people talking about gold hitting new all-time highs and stuff, but at the end of the day, let's be honest, the prices that we see on gold and silver are extremely low compared to the amount of money that is in the system. Once you look at the amount of money in the system and people wake up and say, this game cannot go on forever. I mean, they're tired of inflation. They're tired of seeing their currency get devalued. They're tired of overprinting. And, right now, maybe you have a feeling that, the current administration is doing their part to set things right. Okay, but this current administration is 4 years. I mean, if you have that viewpoint, I want you to think about maybe what happened 8 years ago, and then how quick things might have changed in 4 years later. And then we had to deal with 4 more years. Now, if you don't like this administration, if you really dislike them, and maybe you like the previous administration, then you have to ask yourself, does it really matter? Does it really matter who's in office? Because the truth of the matter is, no one is going to pay off the debt. We are going to continue printing money. We're going to continue spending money. And it just matters on what are we spending it on. Right now there's a lot of talk about the new stimulus check, the $5,000 stimulus check that everybody's going to get. Okay. I'll be the first one to say they did a great job saving the country already, a lot of money. We're currently sitting, if you believe these numbers, which I do, we're currently sitting at approximately $156 billion, about ready to be $157 billion in savings. Now, how did we get that money? Well, we took that money away from things that it was budgeted for that we felt was a waste. And that, I don't want to call it necessarily fraud, waste, abuse, call it whatever. But we took that money away, and now what? Now we're talking about giving $5,000 to everybody. I'll be the first one to have my hand out to take the $5,000. I'm not going to sit here and tell you lies. I heard somebody tell me the other day, I don't want it. Okay, that's good. Then don't take it. I'll take mine. Will you understand that that's going to essentially hurt the government? That's going to, raise prices of everything we buy. I said, okay, but I'm going to take that $5,000 and I'm going to do something good with it. I'm going to buy precious metals. And this is a chart right here. This is a historical chart on gold. And as it's going up, I'm going to have my $5,000 in that. And yeah, hey, my $5,000 helped the economy just like someone else's $5,000. Except somebody else might have spent it at a clothing store. I spent it at a bullion dealer. Or at a coin shop, helping the mom and pops. Precious metals are going to continue, in my opinion, to go a whole lot higher. And so that's why I'm putting my money in it. And I try to put extra, and I squeeze myself. I know some people look at this chart right here, and they're like, oh, look, it can't go over that. It'll never go over that. Even when it goes back up, yeah, it might come back up to $50, but then it's just going to plunge back down just like it always has. Okay, let that happen, because if that happens at $30 silver, That's still a 60% climb, and I will be very happy seeing a 60% increase in the money that I put in. So there are going to be sellers, and I know I kind of went off topic a little bit talking about some of this other stuff, but sometimes when you get doing these videos, it's hard to just come on here and just talk about one little thing. That's why it's kind of a podcast for me. But I want people to understand, be prepared. If something drastic happens and the price of silver shoots all the way up to $50, don't automatically assume that it has to come back down just because it did the last couple times. It's an old saying, third time's the charm. We had our one, we had our two. The next one, the third one, could blow right through 50. I expect, though, there will always be a certain amount of selling. There'll always be a certain amount of people that can't picture it getting better. And that's why a lot of people will always miss the boat. They'll always miss, some of y'all know when I was doing Dogecoin, you seen my Doge wallet. And I had looked at it and I told a couple of friends and I priced it and I got to a point where I'd made a nice profit and I sold it. And I had some people tell me, dude, if you had held it, you realize you would have had $500,000. Okay. I mean, yes, I bought low, I sold high, and it went a whole lot higher. But, people told me I was foolish to buy it when I bought it. And then they told me I was foolish to sell it when I sold it. I said, you were one of the people telling me not to buy it. He goes, yeah, but you got lucky. A blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. You bought it and you hold it now. You've got it. Why would you sell it? It's going to go to $1. It's going to go to $5. You're going to see Shiba at $10. I said, I'm not taking the chance. I made a profit, and that's it. And because of that I sold that position, I ended up not reaching a huge milestone that was life-changing money. However, it wasn't even 3-4 weeks later that the price plunged. And that's a good lesson to experience, that you took the sure thing. That the 2 in the hand instead of the 4 in the bush, I think they call it. I'm not willing to gamble it. And buying precious metals, in my opinion, it's not a gamble. It's a sure thing. It's just a matter of time. Now, that's my opinion. Some people will have a different opinion. And that's why I'm not a licensed financial advisor. So with that being said, I want people to be prepared for if the price does continue to climb and you don't sell your position too soon. With that being said, not financial advice, nor should be taken as such. I appreciate everybody watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, and I hope you all have a great week. It is Monday. Let's get the week kicking off right, and I hope you all have a great week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.